I don't know, you miss one upload and people start speculating that you've been sacked. Maybe they were right. Of course they weren't right. We're doing just fine. We've recovered. In fact, since the last episode and your comments that you left about our tactic, we've gone undefeated. We're up to 6th place in the league. We've now got 16 points. And the good news is that Bayern have started to drop some points of their own. I think they've been defeated twice since we saw you last. They've lost 3-0 to Hoffenheim in their most recent game. And they went down 2-0 to their rivals Borussia Dortmund as well. They have been throwing in the odd 8-1 victory, granted, so they've still got quality, but it shows that they are fallible after all. And this is the tactic that we've now switched to, and we've been pretty consistent playing this shape with a couple of tweaks for the last 6 matches. We took heed of some of the comments. Lots of people were encouraging us to go to a 5 at the back system. I decided to err on the side of those that were pioneering a 4 at the back system, and I've tried to get as many of our midfielders in the team as possible, although some of them are in different parts of the pitch. But what I did take from the comment section is trying to fight fire with fire in games. If we can't defend, then just don't. We're going all out on the attacking. We're playing 3 up front. We're asking all 3 of them to put a lot of pressure on the opponent's defence. We've got lots of closing down, although we're not playing a very high line because we were still getting caught with chances in behind our defence. So we've kept the line standard, but we are asking them to close down much more often. And we're also employing both the counter-press and counter-attacking tactics. And we're not afraid to go a little bit more direct. We're keeping the tempo nice and high. We're playing on an attacking mentality. And these 5 players in particular are really trying to harry and press the opposition. And hopefully, in today's game, you'll see the players working harder, closing down the opposition more, trying to win the ball back. And when they do, they go direct and they go fast, and we launch counter-attacks. And so far, it's been pretty effective. The end of the last episode saw a pretty poor run of form continue. We'd lost to Frankfurt, Man United, Bayern Munich, and Wolfsburg. Since then, things have been much better with just a couple of blips that have stopped it being a perfect run. Let's show you how we've been doing, starting with another Champions League game, where we played Red Star at home and we were 2-0 up inside the opening 8 minutes, and it made me think that our tactic was along the right line. Ceratosa scored first before we played a corner into the box, and Pena rose at the far post. And after 78 minutes, it was Pena again after some good work down the right, and he had an easy tap in. Next, we travelled to Werder Bremen, who were bottom of the table, and we made slightly harder work of this game. But on 32 minutes, Alexi headed home. But we found a second goal harder to come by until Victor Manzano pounced on a mistake at the back to score the second. Despite being very dominant, we actually went a goal down in the next game against Hertha Berlin. Our defensive frailties came to the fore once more, but we managed to get back into the game in the second half. Our first goal came through Mendes, and we were relieved to score a winner when Pena pounced on another chance to give us a 2-1 victory. But then maybe we got overconfident because we went away to Shakhtar in the Champions League and we rested some players, and we were made to pay when they took the lead. And we relied on a stoppage time equaliser to escape from Ukraine with a point. But we were back to our best against Paderborn, scoring in the 2nd minute, adding another in the 4th. Pena would miss a penalty before half-time, but he was still on hand to head home to put us 3-0 up at the break, before Manzano added the 4th, and Pena completed his hat-trick. After beating Karlsruhe comfortably in the cup, we played another relegation-threatened team in Stuttgart, and they took the lead against us. Pena had 1 goal disallowed in our search for an equaliser, but eventually he got on the score sheet, but we were unable to find a winner. And all of that means we're now 7 games unbeaten, and we've come back for a Champions League game today because the group is at a little bit of a crossroads. A win today and we would be on 7 points, and if Man United beat Red Star, as you would expect them to do, we would be 5 points clear of the teams in 3rd and 4th in the group. But if we were to lose it, we'd actually be knocked out of that 2nd qualification spot, and we'd be behind Shakhtar with 2 games to go in the group. So a win today is going to be very important in order to try and qualify for those knockout stages. But as well as the tactics, there's been something else that's helped lead to the good run of form, somewhere I don't normally go in Football Manager. And that is the dreaded team meeting, which I normally avoid like the proverbial plague. But we used one to try and boost confidence, and it worked. Along with your tactical advice from the last episode, lots of commenters were suggesting that we look at the training as well. This is our typical training week. We already do lots of match preparation. We always get the defensive shape, the teamwork, and the attacking movement in before every game. We also do the match reviews after games as well. So there's lots of match prep going on in our training. Hopefully, that's making a difference behind the scene as well. But I guess we need to put it all to the test in front of the YouTube cameras. We've not been able to show you a win whilst we've been at Bayer Leverkusen. Maybe the game at Shakhtar could be our occasion. Shakhtar qualified for the playoffs following wins against Hungary's Ferencváros and Slavia Prague from the Czech Republic. They lost narrowly to Manchester United and have had draws against ourselves and Red Star. They have some familiar names in their squad, such as Welshman Nico Williams, but their danger man is probably striker Lassina Traore. We'll be hoping to continue our good run as Bayer Leverkusen take on Shakhtar Donetsk. For fear of getting my excuses in early, I will throw one little caveat out there before we start today's game. These players are pretty tired. We've got one more fixture after tonight's game to get through, and then the players have got a full week of rest, at least those of them that aren't on international duty at least, and they need that rest because we've been doing very little rotation really, and when we have, such as in the Stuttgart game and the game we played earlier against Shakhtar, we've only managed to pick up draws, so the squad is not quite so good when we start to rotate. We've got a corner early, inside 5 minutes, we've already scored. This man Pena can do it all, I assure you. I think he's 6'5", fabulous in the air, but he's quick as well. And he's a very good finisher, and he rises at the near post, thumps the header past the keeper. What a start that is. We've managed to win the ball back again, and we're looking to try and score our second. Pena slips the ball to Saratoza and out to Mendes, and the ball's gone back to Saratoza. He had the goal at his mercy. Unfortunately, he's hit the keeper and was offside for the follow-up. Shakhtar are not out of this game. They're looking to try and score an equaliser. We are closing down a little more. You saw the lunge there by Saratoza, and now you've seen Smith smack the calves of his opponent. We have not got get stuck in on, I assure you, but we have just given away a penalty. Nico Williams has gone down in the box. The referee is taking that agonising run over to the monitor. We all know what you're going to say, son. And here he comes, ready to deliver his news. Of course, he's awarded the penalty. So now we're going to be relying on Cabrera. We have seen him save one penalty already in our time at Leverkusen. We need him again. And he's done it again. He was almost inside his own goal. That was a bit of a ferocious effort, but he managed to get a couple of palms on it. They are even checking the goal line review to see whether it was over the line, but he's kept our 1-goal lead intact. Little bit of bad news. Pareda, our left back, not only has he been booked, but he's also picked up a knock. He's one of those players that could desperately do with a bit of a rest. And we're going to have to take him off. Mendoza facing the wrong way. It comes off his own backside to the opposition. You can see that we are still incredibly weak defensively. We give away some terrible, terrible chances through our own mistakes at the back. But I think we've managed to get all the way through to half-time with a very fragile lead. We need to tell the players we need that second goal. So we told the players they were terrible in the first half, and they agreed with us. And we've also made that substitution as well at left back. So Pedrozzini is on, and now we go in search of a second goal. We've got Saratoza. He's been influential so far. And now we've got Mendes giving the ball to one of the players. Pena looked offside to me there. He looked like he was stood maybe a yard, maybe even more offside. The ref's having a think. I think this is going to be chalked off. And here he delivers his news, and we've called it once more. Goal disallowed. He did look a long way offside. We will check the replay. In fact, it was far closer than I thought. That player did just step back, but we've been denied once more. One substitution used already. I think on 70 minutes we're going to have to make another. And we've reached that point now. Let's look at which of our players is struggling the most for fitness. Saratoza's played a lot of games. Renier is an obvious replacement for him, and absolutely not the worst one to be bringing on as well. 42 caps for Brazil. Can't turn your nose up at that. I think we'll keep the other one up our sleeve, although Oscar Mendes, who has been in pretty good form since this little run that we've been on, I think he's going to have to come on, but we'll try and nurse him through to 80 minutes before we make that change. This lead is still very narrow, and we've not looked particularly likely to score a second, apart from the goal we had disallowed. We're on now 81 minutes. It is going to be Shawn Mendes that we bring off. We're going to bring on Yarobi because our obvious replacement, who is Alexei, he's been carrying a bit of a hamstring injury, so we don't want to force him back too early. We're going to bring on Yarobi, who's not really a striker. We've been forcing him to come on as a sub and play there over the last few games. He's not done too bad, if I'm completely honest. And we'll see whether he can get involved in the game now that he's on the pitch. Shawn Mendes chases down. He's got one last bit of action before he comes off. We're trying to win the ball back, and we've done it. Reader has given it to Manzano, and now the substitute, Pedrozzini, never plays well when he comes on, I'm afraid. And so it continues with a poor pass that he puts into the box. He's now chasing back his opponent. I think it's only a matter of time before he fouls him. And right on cue, he does just that. Still plenty of time left in this game. The Shakhtar keeper launches a ball upfield, and we've been caught again. And Danjuma has scored for Shakhtar. We do look fragile at the back. It was just a punt from their keeper up the field. We were unable to deal with it. Look at this. How many times have we done this season? Mihajlic, the halfback, wins his header. We can't pick up the second balls. And Danjuma scores far too easily. This group looks like it could go down to the final game. And there are no more highlights before the referee blows his whistle. Let's see how that leaves the table looking. It looks incredibly tight, and although that makes it 8 games unbeaten, it's also a second game running where we've only been able to draw 1-1 against sides that we really should have beaten. Where will we be when we see you next episode?